Hi there, myself Madhav Jha. I welcome you to CodeChef and let's have a look at this question.
The problem is MEX and MAX. The problem difficulty is easy and there are no prerequisites. Let's have a read at the problem. You are given an array A containing n integers. We need to find the number of total non-empty subsequence B of A such that the absolute difference between MEX of B minus the maximum value of B is less than equal to 1. Here, MEX of B will represent the minimum non-negative integer not present in B. So let's take an example. If we have this array 0, 1, 2 and 4, then what is the minimum non-negative integer that is not present here? So if we see 0 is present, 1 is there, 2 is there, 3 is not there. Therefore, the MEX value of this array is 3. Now max is nothing but the maximum value element. So max here is 4. Now what we need to do is we need to calculate the absolute difference between them. So it will be 3 minus 4, which would give us negative 1, and after removing the absolute we have 1. So we need to find from the input array A such non-empty subsequences of B that the difference between MEX and MAX is less than equal to 1. So the valid values that we can have of this difference inside it is nothing but minus 1, 0 and 1. More on this when we go over the approach. Now, since this answer could be very large, that is the number of subsequence could be very large, therefore we will find its modulus, right? Now, we will say that are two subsequences are different if the indexes chosen are different, even if the elements are same. Next up, we have input format. So we have t test cases, and for each test case we have two lines. The first line contains the integer n, and the second line contains the input array itself. As for the output, for each test case on a single line, we have to output the total number of subsequences satisfying the condition that we saw. As for the constraints, number of test cases will go from 1 to 100. Value of n, that is the length of our array, will go from 2 to 100, and the elements itself in the array will go from 0 to n. Now, as we have seen in the problem also, going over all the values or solutions are going to be very big. So let's go over the approach and let's see how we can approach a valid solution. So let's assume that we have this array A. It will contain all the elements, so 1, 2, 3 till n. Now, this is not the array that we are concerned about. What we are concerned about is creating a subsequence B. And we are going to create this in such a manner that the difference between MEX and MAX, their absolute difference, comes up to be less than equal to 1. Now, as I have seen before, the value before the absolute has to be either negative 1, 0 or 1, so that when they are converted as absolutes, the only values valid are 0 and 1. That is what we mean by when we say less than equal to 1. But if you see, 0 is not something that is possible. Now, why do I say that? For an element to become a part of max, it has to be part of B. So let's assume we are saying x is the maximum element. Now if x is present in B, it could be a max, but it cannot be MEX simultaneously, because if you remember, MEX is the minimum non-negative integer that is missing from here. So 0 is not a valid answer. Only valid answers are minus 1 and 1. Let's take an assumption. Let's say m is the maximum value that we want to achieve. Now, if m is the maximum value, what would be the MEX? Now, since m is max, m plus 1 could not be the case. So, we could have m minus 1. Their difference could give us 1. Otherwise, we can have the max value as m minus 1 and MEX could become m. Now, in this case, what is it that we are implying? We are implying that we have all the elements from 1 to m minus 2, and then we have m. In this case, the MEX will become m minus 1. Similarly, when we say that our MEX is actually going to be m, it means that we have all the elements till m minus 1, and m will be our MEX. These are two valid situations, or I would say only two valid situations, where we are able to get the difference of MEX and max as less than equal to 1. So how can we get these numbers, or what are the total combinations or total number of subsequences that we can get this. That is pretty easy to check. We want to pick all these elements and we want to find what is the number of ways that we can pick. So let's say we have our element x and its frequency is f of x. Then for our subsequence when we are picking it, each of these frequencies will have an option. We either pick them or we don't pick them, 0 or 1. So each one of them have two options. So it is nothing but 2 raised to f of x. This is just the frequency of the element, frequency of x. But there is one worst case situation that we want to avoid, and that is when we have not chosen any one of them. Because remember, for MEX, we need to have all of the elements. Actually, in this case, we have to include 0 also because that is also present. If we want to include all of these numbers, we have to ensure that we do not fall into the bad case where we are actually not picking any one of them, right? So this is the number of ways to pick one of the elements. We just have to do the same for all of them. That is, for the first case, we have to calculate them for 0, 1, m-2, and m. Similarly, at the end, for the second case, we have to calculate for all the values of 0 to m-1. So for this, we can simply calculate it, and to go over all the values of m, we can simply go over them all. That is, from 0 to n, we can go over all the values. Because we have a sufficiently smaller constraint, the n-square solution would suffice. So we can go over all the values of m, calculate this solution, and at the end, have a result that will store all the total count of subsequences validating our constraint. And with this, we'll have the solution. Let's see how we can implement the solution in C++. So for each test case, we call the function solve. In solve, we take the input of n and then we take the input of our array. Now, once we have our input array, we also want to find out what are the ways of choosing an element. Now, if you remember, it was nothing but 2 raised to the frequency of that element. So to find that, we can simply do this by taking the input. So while doing so, for each element, we keep on multiplying 2 as many times as it appears in our input array. Now, we don't want this to overflow, therefore, we do a modulus with the number that we saw in our question. Now, next up, we go over all the values of m as we have seen from 0 to m. We go over all the values of m and then calculate the number of ways that we can figure out a subsequence where m is the max element. As we have seen in the approach, we calculate those two values and add it up to the result. We do this for all the values of m and at the end we print it. And as you can see, I have AC in C++ implementation. Let's see how we can do this in Python. Again, for each test case, we call the function solve, take the input of n and our array. Then we calculate our number of ways for each of the elements that we have. Then next up, we calculate our answer for each value of m. We go over all of them and calculate the number of subsequences that are valid. We add them up and at the end, we simply print it. At the end, as you can see, I have AC in Python implementation as well. So I hope you understood the problem, the approach, and how we can implement the solution in both C++ and Python. Have a very good day, and I'll see you in the next video.